Szandra, who's been to New Zealand and some other countries as well. So let's see what her experiences were. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, hi
How are
everybody.
you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad. Thanks for talking to me. And yeah, let's go into it right away. Um, can you tell us how many countries you have visited?
Oh, exactly. I don't know. I don't really know, but at the last 2 years, I started to travel in my way, like, not with my family holidays, but the last few years, I have been around five, six, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. But what was the first country you went to live in?
Yeah. The first country was Malta. When I was 25 years old, I wanted to do something exciting and improve my English because my English was really bad. However, I always learned English in school and in English courses, but it was just horrible. And yeah, I just decided to go to Malta and I lived there for 1 year.
Okay, for a whole year. And what did you do there?
My profession is therapeutic massage therapist,
Hmm.
and well, I worked in a spa. It was so good because I got a job really easily, what I didn't expect. So, for example, my first interview, it was so bad because I didn't understand a lot of things because they talked with me in English. I'm like, oh my God. But I got the job and I had a really good place to work. I worked in a hotel, in a spa. It was really amazing.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And why did you decide to go to Malta? What made you decide to go there?
Well, I, s- I was 25 years old and I was listening to music, a song. It's, um, it's about that we should live our life in a really good way because when you will be old, you can tell a lot of good stories to your grandchildren, and we just need to love and live. And it just, I was listening it and thinking about like, oh my God, I have a really good life. I have a place to live. I have a good job in my home. I have my friends, my family, but it's not really exciting. And I wanted to change it because, like, why not? And I wanted to improve my English as well because I just get bored with that I'm so bad in that. And yeah, one of my friends talked about Malta that maybe she will go there to work. So I just Googled it, like, where is that exactly? How people, what is the language there exactly? And I just figured out that Malta is really warm place. There is the
Mhm.
sea and everybody talk in English. Like, perfect. So I went
Yeah,
there.
I've been to Malta. It's a really nice place. And yes, everyone speaks English, so that's handy. And did you go there by yourself or did you go with this friend of yours?
I went alone, so it was even more exciting. I was really nervous, um, but I felt that this is the type of step what I need to do it in my life to do go somewhere absolutely alone. Like typically this cliche, just step out from my comfort zone and let's see how I can manage all the things. And it turned out really well. So.
Mhm. And it's a typical girls' question, but what did you pack? How much luggage did you bring with you?
Well, it was huge. It was huge and it was really hard because I bought one big luggage and I started to pack all my stuff. Well, I can't pack all my flat. And it was really hard. The last week was only just to separate, like, okay, this is not as important. Okay, this, it needs to come. So, but yeah, it was, I think 32 kilogram. and I still felt that I made so many sacrifices that oh, these clothes I can't bring it with myself.
I know the feeling. And did you make any friends while in Malta? How did you feel when you were there? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, so I was really afraid that I will feel lonely because I go alone. So because of that, at the first 3 weeks, I went to an English school, and I lived in a college, how you say it, where all the students live in one place. So like this, it was really great because immediately I had friends, I had my roommates, and they were in the same situation like me. So it was really great, and many of the students stayed in Malta as well, so we could keep the contact. Um, so yeah, it was easy, and Malta is really multinational place. A lot of people go there just to live temporary. So everybody know how the other people feel. Everybody wants to make friends. Everybody is so friendly, and I'm like, yeah, let's go for a trip together. We just met an hour ago. Ah, it's okay. So it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good, actually. So you were there for a year, and what made you decide to leave? Because you had your friends, you enjoyed yourself. Why did you leave Malta?
Well, actually, my basic plan was that I stay in Malta only around 6 months. So it will be exciting in my life. And after I go home, I will know English and I will probably can get a good job in Hungary. Um, and so I stayed in Malta 1 year because I got this really good job and because I met so many good friends. Um, but yeah, so I didn't plan to travel much after that. But after a few months, my English got more confident, and yeah, I just met so many people around the world, and I heard the stories where they have been living before, and oh my God, I'm like, I want to do that. I don't
Of
want to go
course.
home. So I started to plan that, okay, maybe I'm going to Australia or anywhere, but somewhere really, really far, because, well, Malta was a really safe place for me. It's in Europe, everybody speaks English, and it's not so far from my home country. So if anything happened, I can just go home and it's okay. Yeah, but after I felt like, okay, now Malta is really small. You can travel it around kind of in a week. And yeah, I just wanted to see more places. And well, I met a
Yeah.
guy, and he said like, "How about we go to New Zealand?" I'm like, "Okay, that's really far, and everybody speak English. Let's go there." Yeah, so
Yes,
that's
of
why
course.
I
Nothing is
yeah that's why
forever.
I left Malta because I just wanted to see more places. Yeah.
I understand, and especially when you're young, you want to make the most of it, isn't it? So, and I've been to Malta actually. I went there for a week, and that was enough to go around the whole island. So, completely agree. Um, so, Malta is part of the European Union. Was it easy to get a job, get a bank account?
Yeah, it was actually quite easy. The thing is, Maltese people, they are really chilled. They have rules. You need to do some official things, but they are really slow. They don't really care about to make everything really quickly. So yes, I didn't even need a bank account. It
No.
was not necessary because I got my paycheck in a check, so I just needed to go to the bank and I got my salary like this. Yeah, I needed to go have a tax number,
Mhm.
and that's all. And I think for that maybe I needed a place to prove that I live somewhere, but I'm not even sure about that. Yeah, so it was really easy. I just went there, I got the job, and they just told me what to do. Yeah.
And did they ask for any papers, any qualification to prove that you can do what you say you can do?
Yes, yes. Well, I brought with myself the copy of my certificate in English. So I made it in Hungary. And of course, it was important that I already had experience in my profession. So, and I don't know if they asked, that they called my last job, but yeah, they needed the contact. So yeah, it was seriously so easy. I was really surprised.
Yes, it sounds very easy. So that's really good. But your
Yeah.
journey didn't stop here. What was the next destination?
Well, after Malta, I spent 6 weeks in Asia, 3 weeks in Indonesia, and 3 weeks in Thailand. And that was my very first time that I was in a different continent, and it was amazing. I absolutely fall in love with Asia, and I really want to go back at one point. And yes, I applied for the working holiday visa to New Zealand, and I got it. So I went there and I spent there 1 year.
Wow. And how long did it take to get the visa?
Well, it works like that for Hungarian people, they open the application uh, usually in April. It's only one day and they open it, and it's opened till they still have empty spaces. And the thing is, it's like only 100 Hungarian people can get the working holiday visa in 1 year. And so many people apply, like really a lot, because well, it's a beautiful place, so everyone wanna go there. Um, um, and well, I read a lot about this, and I had a friend who was there before for a year with this visa, and everybody told me that I need to be really careful. I need to practice before to fill in all the forms, because I need to be super fast, because usually in 15 minutes all the space is over. Like, yeah, it was really crazy. And so I practiced, but I was so optimistic. And now, just to think about back, like, wow, I was way too optimistic, because I already had the ticket to New Zealand and I didn't have the visa yet.
Oh no, you had 50 minutes to fill in the visa and get on the list.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was practicing a few days, and I saw that, I just filled in exactly the places, what was with the red star, that you need to fill it in, so I don't waste any time. I was in a good Wi-Fi place, and everything was prepared, and okay, let's do it. And I made it, I think 8 minutes was it. And yeah, and the thing is, I read in a forum that somebody finished in 11 minutes and she didn't get it. Yeah, so
Oh,
it was really.
and how long did you have to wait for the result?
Well, I needed to pay for the visa, and when the system allow you to pay, that's a good sign. And I finished, I paid, okay, and I was waiting, okay, what's happening now? And I think next day, or maybe after the next day, I got an email that thank you so much, to get the visa. You don't get the visa yet. You need to have like X-ray, and and I needed to do it in 15 days, I think. And
Is that
and
a medical examination you have to do, or just an
well,
X-ray?
it's not a whole medical examination. It's only an X-ray. Um, what is I actually don't remember how much does it cost, but it was not so expensive, and only a few places do this. So I just went there. They made the X-ray, and they sent the result to the immigration. And after 2 weeks, maybe, I got the email that I have the visa, everything is okay. So I have 1 year to step into the country. I was so
Wow.
happy.
And what did your family think? I mean, New Zealand is pretty far away.
Yeah, well, my mom, she really likes that I travel because she also loves traveling. So of course she was just motivating me. Yes, let's do it, do it. It's so good for you. My grandparents, they were not so happy about that probably. And every day when I talked with them and I was in New Zealand, they asked me like, why I needed to go so far, like just too far. I'm like, yeah, exactly because of that, because it's so far.
Was
So
there?
yeah, but everybody supported me, so it was not a problem. Everybody was happy that I am happy.
Oh, that's really good. That's the way it should be. And what's the time difference between New Zealand and Hungary?
Um, well, it's changed between the summer and winter time, but it's like 10 hours or 12 hours.
Wow, so you had to call your family at certain times to make sure that they're actually awake.
Yes, exactly. Well, I usually knew how is their daily schedule, so like this, it was good. But yeah, we actually managed really well. It was not a problem to keep the contact. You know, now the internet is here, so it's so easy just to write to each other every day and to have a video call. Like I think I did it every week, and even with my grandmothers, I could talk with them in phone. So it was really, really easy. Sometimes it was difficult to manage that. Okay, I can't stay awake. I'm going to sleep. Let's talk next day. But it was not as hard as people think.
But you kept in touch, which is good.
Ab-
And
Absolutely.
how long did it take you to prepare for the whole journey? You know, including the visa, including packing, including emotional preparation.
Um, well, after Malta, I came home and well, I packed my package in a little bit in a different way. You know, all the trekking stuff and really warm clothes because it was winter. I went to New Zealand in June, no, in July, and it's middle of the winter. So I needed really warm clothes. Yeah, I needed to read about New Zealand, that's what to bring. Um, I brought actually a smaller backpack, what was really difficult for me again. But I started to learn in Malta that what type of clothes is necessary, what type of not. So it was okay. And yeah, well, I don't know. Emotionally, it was not so difficult for me anymore because I was living in Malta. So after that, it was just something, yeah, now it's just another country. So and with the papers, all the things. Well, I spent 3 weeks in Hungary, um, and it was more than enough to prepare everything. Yeah.
Wow, 3 weeks is not that long actually, if you think about it. Wow.
Yeah.
And can you remember your first day when you arrived to New Zealand? How did it feel? What were your first thoughts?
Well, yeah, I remember when I arrived in New Zealand, it was quite late evening, and well, I'm quite a emotional person. So of course, I I had some tears that oh my God, I really arrived here, the other part of the world, and I felt so amazing. I felt really proud that I did it, because before I was like, okay, something can happen, so I will be super happy when I'm already there. So I was really happy and proud of myself, and a little bit scared, to be honest, because the first few people who I talked with, they had so different accent. And I just didn't understand what they say. It was really difficult because I went there with a confident English. However, my grammar, my vocabulary is still not perfect, but I'm like, okay, everybody can understand me, and this is the most important. But the first guy who I met, he was a Maori person, and they have even more difficult accent, and I was wondering that he talks in English or in a different language. So it was scary, but I managed, so it was right.
Yeah, I've heard people from New Zealand, they call them Kiwis. Yeah, I heard them, and it is very different to British English or American English. Um, but did you actually already book an accommodation before going there, or what was the plan?
Well, I used the Couchsurf application. This was the first time that I used it. It's an application where you can stay with people for free. They just offer you a couch or a bed or even just the floor, and it's just they help people help other people. And yeah, I found a guy who offered like his garage, and there was a bed there, and we said that okay, I can stay there for 3 days. So that's all. That was the booked accommodation. Basically, I hoped that it will be all right. Well, he had already a lot of review, and all the reference was really great. So I was not worrying too much. And after it turned out that the guy has a little hostel, so it was perfect because I stayed there for 3 nights, and basically after I stayed even 3 more weeks because that was the cheapest hostel I think in Auckland. It was so good. A lot of travelers were there, and he had a van business as well, so I could ask for the car sometimes. So he was the perfect person and place to start my New Zealand journey because he was super helpful. There were a lot of travelers there, and it was cheap. What is really important in New Zealand because New Zealand is really expensive.
Yes, I heard. So what did you do when you arrived? Did you start looking for a job immediately, or did you look around first?
Yes, because well, I spent 6 weeks in Asia. Even if Asia is really cheap, but I spent quite a lot of money, and I felt like okay, I have the money to be in New Zealand without job for a little bit. But yeah, the first plan was that okay, immediately as soon as possible, I want to start to work. And again, I was so lucky. I started to send my applications, my CV, and after maybe 2 3 days, I had some interview, and I went for a few one, and I found a really good spa, and they offered me the job, and I took it. So after 1 week, basically, I started to work.
Wow, you either very lucky or it's that easy. I don't know.
I know. I know. I don't know why. But it's so good. I'm really happy about that. That I I had really easy way to find a job. Um, well, I sent like really like 20 CV in a day. So
No, that's a
yeah.
lot. And compared to Malta, was it easier to settle down or harder? What do you think?
Um, well, because of the paperwork, it was a little bit more difficult because New Zealand, they have their rules and you need to keep it, and they are actually quite fast. But yeah, so I needed a bank account, I needed a tax number, and for all these things, I needed a place where I live and I needed to prove it. But a lot of things, for example, the tax number, I could do it online, what was super fast. The bank account, I just went there with the proof that I have an address, and it was one day as well. Um,
So you
it
could
actually
use the
took,
address of the hostel you were staying in.
yes, I could use it. Yes, it was good, and Yeah, so to settle down, maybe the difficult thing was to find a place to live normally after the hostel, because so I was in Auckland. It's the biggest city in New Zealand, and I started there because I thought that okay, this is the biggest city, so here are the most jobs probably, and yeah, well, I wanted a flat somewhere close to my workplace, but that area was quite expensive. So I actually looked for a lot of flats, a lot of room, and it was not as easy to find one, but I think it was around 2 weeks, and after I found a good one. Because it's really multinational place, a lot of foreign people in Auckland, and there were some flats. They were living there like 6 people, or like wow. I'm like okay, I don't want that. So yeah, but there are a lot of good websites and also Facebook groups where people advertise flats or they looking for roommates. So yeah, like this, I found one. But yeah, this was a little bit longer than I expected.
I lived in London, and there you cannot afford to live alone, so you have to share a room or a house with someone. Is it the
Mhm.
same in Auckland?
Well, it depends how much is your budget.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I lived outside of Auckland. It was the suburb in Albany, and well, at the first time, like I was okay. I will try to find a place, a room alone, and if it's really not possible, I will try to find a place to share a room. But I found in quite in a good price, so it was not so bad. So, but yeah, for example, in the city center, it's way too expensive to live there. So yeah, most of the people they share the room.
Yeah, normally the suburbs are cheaper, but that means you have to travel longer if your job is in the center.
Yes, exactly. But my workplace was in the suburb as well. So I didn't have a car that time, and I didn't want to spend too much money on public transport. So that's why I was trying to find a place what is really close to my workplace. So after all, I bought a bicycle and I was just cycling to my workplace. It was around 10-15 minutes every day. So it was great.
Oh, what about rain or snow?
Yeah, well, because it was winter and in Auckland there is no snow, but there is a lot of rain. Well, probably now I'm taller because I had a lot of rain.
No, it's fun cycling in the rain for the first few times.
Yeah, it wasn't as easy sometimes, but every time when I had a big shower because of the rain, I was thinking, okay, that's okay, Sandra. Now maybe you are angry, but you have a big rain in New Zealand, but it's much better. So,
And you keep fit at the same time, so it's a win-win situation.
exactly.
And how about friends? Did you said it was a multicultural city, so there were lots of other foreigners there as well, like in Malta, or was it a bit different?
Um, to be honest, for me, it was a little bit more difficult because I lived in the suburb, and there mostly families live there or people who plan long term. So I didn't meet there so many travelers because all the travelers were in the city center. And yeah, it wasn't as easy to go to the city center all the time. It was like, I don't know, like an hour. And after work, I didn't feel sometimes to go there. um, yeah, so it wasn't as easy to find friends for me in Auckland because I worked quite a lot, and because I didn't have really easy way to travel inside the city. But when I had days off, sometimes I tried to, there are Facebook pages like Auckland backpackers and such trips.
Meetups.
Yeah, exactly. So there I made posts that, hi, I'm looking for somebody to go for a trip. And it was good because always somebody said that, okay, let's go together. And well, I met a few friends, so it was good. But I lived only 2 months in Auckland, so I didn't have so much time to have really close friends because,
Oh,
yeah.
so where did you go after Auckland and why?
Um, so as I said, I went to New Zealand with my boyfriend, and he got a job in a different city in Whangarei. Well, it's a little bit northern area, Northland, and he got a job there. So after Auckland, I moved there as well because he was already there. And yeah, well, there I didn't find a massage job, unfortunately, but I found a really good job actually. It was in a sweet shop. It was really dangerous. It was
The
really
sweet
dangerous because
shop.
there was so many good stuff there. Yeah, so I think I was living there for 3 months because I have a limit with my visa. Uh, the Hungarian people can work for one company only 3 months.
Oh, that's it.
So
And then you have to change and you can work for someone else?
yeah, well, after I need to change the company, or yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
but it's not so bad because like this you always keep in move, so you can actually travel around New Zealand. Like this you have no excuse. You need to see a lot of places.
yeah, I like your positive attitude.
Yeah, so I lived in Whangarei after 3 weeks, and 3 weeks, not weeks, months. And I worked in this place. And after that, we traveled around. We bought a car. It was like a family car. And in New Zealand, it's really kind of popular to travel around with a camper van.
Oh,
So
cool.
this,
That's my dream.
do it. It's just so great. And so we bought a car because it was already high season, so we couldn't buy a really cheap car, but we just checked, and we bought a family car, but was not a camper van yet, and we turned it to a camper van. Yeah, it was so cool.
Wow. That must have been a lot of work.
Well, yeah, it was a long, but we were living there for 3 months, so this I think it was around 1 month, but we were really just do it after work. Um, I made the design, I couldn't do so much really mechanical stuff. We bought a really good cheap car. Fortunately, it was good. And yeah, we just needed to clean it, take out the seats, put the stand, or how you say it, inside, from wood, and
Oh,
all the mattress and everything. My boyfriend was the person who made all the mechanical stuff, and I went to op shops. These are second-hand shops. I mean, it's similar to second-hand shop. Op shop is where people give donation, and after the shop sell it, and
yes.
this money goes to charity.
Yes, it's
And
like a charity
everything.
shop. That's what they call it in England.
Ah, yeah, so charity shop, yeah, and everything was really cheap there, so it was like a treasure hunting every day for me. Like I just went there and okay, what can I find today? What I can use in the car, and everything was from there. So all in all, like this, our camper van was a really cheap camper van, but it's a really good one because we made it in our way that it needs to be practical and yeah, it was so good.
Oh, so the perfect car for you then.
Yes.
And how long did you travel in your perfect little camper van?
It was 6 weeks. Um, we started from north because we were living in Whangarei. So we slowly went down Auckland, Rotorua, blah, blah, blah. And after we went to the South Island, and we made a circle there as well. So it was perfect because like this, the time is yours. You don't need to go somewhere because you book the accommodation. You can just sleep in campsites, and there are a lot of campsites in New Zealand. It's really so fashionable, really so popular to travel around like this. Even the New Zealand people, Kiwis, everybody has a camper van. Seriously, it's crazy. I didn't think about that. They have like a camping culture.
That's my kind of place.
Yeah, and there are a lot of free campsites, fortunately. So it has no many facilities, but like this, you can do your travel in really, really cheap. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to ask, do they have toilets and showers in these campsites, or how did you sort that one out?
Well, it depends. There are campsites where you need to pay. I think the cheapest campsite is around $8 usually per night per person. But we always tried to find free campsites because we didn't want to pay for the place. If we already have our car, why would we pay even more? So the free campsite has no shower. It has only a toilet. When you are lucky, you find a campsite that has flushing toilet, but most of the free campsites is just the really basic.
Oh,
Yummy.
the hole in the
Yeah,
ground kind of toilet?
yeah, it's not so good. But to be honest, I have no any complaint because Kiwis, they take care of these campsites so much. And I think it was really rare that something was not clean. Like really, they clean it, and travelers also try to keep it clean. So it's good. And yeah, the paying campsites, they have everything. So it's really depend on how much is your comfort level.
And what about the food? Did you go to supermarkets and just buy some food, or to restaurants?
Well, as I said, we really wanted to do this cheap, like really cheap. So I cooked. We bought a little like a mobile cooking plate, or how you say it, I don't know.
It's like one of those gas stove things, like tiny little
Yes,
thing with gas, and you just cook on
yes,
top.
exactly. Yes, it worked with gas. And well, the deal was that I cook and my boyfriend drive. So I cooked every day. Our backside of the car, we made a little storage, and I had everything, cooking plate. Like we always try to buy such food like vegetables, fruits, what is not so bad in the warm, because it was summer when we traveled around. And well, yeah, we always went to big supermarkets. Pack and Save is the cheapest, and yeah, we just bought a lot of food. We tried not to eat so many canned food because we saw that most of the travelers, they eat super unhealthy during the travel. But well, I love cooking, so it was not so hard for me. Even it was a challenge that, okay, what can I do today? If it's raw, if I don't have time to cook normally, or something good from the nothing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
home
it was
cooking is always
absolutely
better.
manageable. Yeah. Yeah. So it was not as hard.
Okay. Oh, it's on my list now. I'm gonna do that.
That's
So,
good.
what happened when this journey finished? What was the next step?
So the next step was to find a job again in the South Island because because well, 6 weeks traveling, even if we made it really cheap, it was kind of, we finished the travel in March, and yeah, we just wanted to find a place again where we can work. So we finished our travel in Christchurch. It's the middle of the South Island. And I tried to find a job there, but it turned out that Christchurch is not so touristic place. And everywhere they looked for massage therapists only for really long term. But because of my visa, I couldn't manage that. And yeah, at the end, I found a place in Hanmer. Hanmer is a tiny village. It's a little bit similar to, like, there are, like, for example, in Hungary, Havis, where the thermal water is really popular. And because of that, the whole place is super popular because everybody is going to the spa. So Hanmer is like this, but smaller. And yeah, there was a place, a retreat center, and they were looking for massage therapists. And it was just perfect. Like, I found that place, and the deal was like that the retreat center, they offer accommodation and retreats and food to people. So I was helping around with that. I cleaned the accommodation. I was helping to cook food for the guests. And because of that, for exchange, I got my own accommodation and food for free. I mean, exchange of work. And when I worked in the spa, I got salary. So it was just perfect.
Yeah,
And
that
the
sounds
whole
like a good deal.
area, yeah, exactly. And the whole area was so beautiful. It was a valley and around big mountains, and it was getting winter, so the top was with snow. It was seriously best workplace ever.
And how many days did you have to work? So how much free time did you have to enjoy this lovely place?
Um, well, they were really flexible. So, uh, we couldn't really, it wasn't like that I have a fixed schedule. It was usually like, this day there will be no clients. So that time you can be free, Sandra. So it was good because, I wanted to work. So when there were clients, I wanted to be there. And when there were no clients, I could just go for a trip.
Oh, that's nice. And what about healthcare? Did you, I'm not quite sure how it works in New Zealand. Did you have to pay extra, or is it like in Hungary that if you pay taxes, you get free healthcare?
Well, when you get your salary in the tax, it's included the ACC, and this is like emergency healthcare. You get a free healthcare when you have an accident or something bad happen. But if you just got sick, you can't go to the doctor for free, like in Hungary. So yeah, if I would go on the street and a car would hit me, they can take me to the hospital and take care of me for free because I pay the ACC. But for example, if I got a flu or something, or I needed to go to the doctor, I went there and I needed to pay money. And even there is a difference if you are a New Zealand resident, you need to pay smaller money. If you are actually a backpacker, you need to pay a little bit more. But it's not so bad. But yeah, only at once I went to the doctor, and I think it was maybe $60. What is, I don't know now how much money, Nina. But it
Maybe
was
we can
it was
write
really
it
not
down.
so bad. It was really not so bad, I think. But yeah, it's not worth it to be sick all the time in New Zealand.
So would you recommend to have a travel insurance, like a backpacker insurance?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, of course. Well, I think anywhere, if we travel somewhere in abroad, it's worth to have a travel insurance. Fortunately, I never had problem. I never been really sick, but I always make an insurance because you just never know what can happen. So it's always
Better
good.
to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And I had some friends, and for example, they had big tooth pain, and there are some insurance they cover that. What is really good, because in New Zealand, the dentist, oh my God, it's super expensive. Yeah.
Oh dear. And what about the taxes? Because is that higher than in Hungary? Is it lower? I would assume it's lower. It must be.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's lower. I think I'm not sure how many percent, but it's way much lower than in Hungary. It wasn't a heartbreak when I saw my paycheck that how much they take it. So yeah, it's not so bad. But I can't remember how much was it.
And how long did you stay in New Zealand altogether?
It was 11 months and 2 weeks.
Oh, almost a year. So, did you come back because your visa expired? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So I already had 2 weeks left, and if I would really want, I could extend my visa. The working holiday visa can be extended if you have 12, I think 12, like farm work paycheck.
What is
What
that?
is, yeah, yeah, well, in New Zealand, it's not so many people living in New Zealand, it's only 4 million people, but there are a lot of farm, a lot of I don't know how you say it in English exactly. When like they always looking for people to picking cherry, picking apple, kiwi, or something like this, because they have no enough people to do it.
I'll say they got the
And
big land, but small amount of people.
exactly, and that's the reason I think it's a really good deal like that. That okay, we can extend your visa, but please help us. No, I think it's great.
That's actually a good deal. So, they tell you how much you have to work on the farm in order to extend your visa.
Yeah, 3 months. 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
So, if you work 3 months on the farm, you can extend your visa by a year. Is that right?
I think only 3 more months you
Oh,
can
I see.
extend.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
or also possible that, if you find a really good place where you work, they can offer you a work visa and you can just change it. For example, I got an offer in Auckland that they told me that they really like how I work and they would like to keep me. And so they offered me a work visa for 1 year, but I just, yeah, well, it didn't. I didn't take it, but yeah, it's possible. So
I
people
assume
can
you
stay
have.
there.
Yeah, sorry.
People can stay in New Zealand if they really want. It's possible to manage that.
But I assume you have new plans now. Are you going somewhere else in the future?
Yeah, well, I really would like to go to Australia. Now this is the big dream, so I'm working on it. I'm working.
So far, do you think it's more difficult to work in Australia than in New Zealand?
Well, I never been there, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
But well, I already checked job advertisements, and I see that they look for massage therapists in spas. And if I take the working holiday visa, I have 6 months to work in one company, so not only three. What is I think is better. Yeah.
Yeah, from the company's point of view as well, because they probably don't want to hire new people all the time, I assume.
Yes. Yes, of course. So it's better to everybody. So I don't really know yet, but if I will be there, I will tell you.
Okay, well, I hope it will happen, and maybe we can have an interview in a few months' time and talk about
Okay.
Australia.
Yeah, that
That
would be good.
that's again a destination I would love to go to, but it's just so far away, and yeah, I'm a bit worried, about all the travels and all the poisonous animals.
Oh my
Um,
God, yeah, I know. Me too. And now when in New Zealand there is no any bad animal. I saw sometimes a big spider or cockroach, but that's all. And now I'm in Hungary at the moment, and when I see a big spider, I'm like, okay, now I should not scare because I need to prepare myself.
it's gonna be a lot worse in Australia.
Yes.
So looking back now, I've got a couple of questions. So the first question is, in New Zealand, where would you say is the best place to live for a foreigner? So if I want to go there to work and live, what do you think would be the best place for me?
Hmm. It depends because, well, I lived in a big city, I lived in a tiny village as well. And, well, to find a job, of course, it's always easier in the big city. And for example, Auckland is, I liked it because a lot of good trip around Auckland. So it's easy to discover the area. Um, but it's a big city. Not everybody like that. So um, the South Island, I think it's more beautiful. There are a lot of mountains there, and it's incredibly amazing, beautiful. So yeah, it's really depend on what you prefer.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
And was there anything you missed from home? Any food or people? Obviously, I mean that's not even a question. But like, was there any food or anything that you missed while you were in New Zealand?
Well, it's not only from New Zealand, also in Malta, the paprika, the vegetable paprika, this
The
TV
yellow
lecho
one.
paprika. I think I arrived home and immediately I ate one just alone. I really like that. But not really. I mean, even the paprika spice or sour cream or such Hungarian things you can find everywhere in the world. So if I was desiring to have a good, I don't know, salami, I could have one. And for example, in New Zealand, there is a good Hungarian club, imagine. Uh, I think they have a meeting every month,
Oh,
and
cool.
they actually make Hungarian food, um, like a nice dinner, and also they I think some people offer like kurka. How you say it in
Ah,
English? I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, this different sausage.
I don't think anyone else has got a name for it except Hungarians.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And yeah, but I could find the this pickled cucumber also in New Zealand. So a lot of things can be found.
So
It's
did
not.
you go and meet this Hungarian community while you were there?
No, unfortunately not, and I'm really sad about that because I really wanted, but because when this club is in Auckland, and because I worked in the spa, I always needed to work in on Sundays, and they have the meetings on Sundays. But I think it's really cool. Like they have a group, and it's so good that they really keep in touch so much, and they have people. So yeah, it's good.
And no, that is a very good thing, especially when you're so far away from home. It's good to have like a piece of Hungary right there. So, in summary, like now looking back at your journeys, at your experiences, would you have done anything differently?
Mm, not really. No,
That's
no.
the
I
best way
mean,
to be. No regrets.
No, absolutely not. I mean, everything was great. And even if sometimes I had challenges, it needed to be like that because this is how I learned to handle all the things. So no, absolutely. I think it was the best way how it could happen.
Yeah. So everything worked out, which is great. Is there any advice you could give to people who are planning to go there?
To New Zealand?
Hmm.
Yeah, well, it's quite useful to know English because I had a quite confident English, and still at the first months I had a little difficulty to understand the people. Um, and yeah, because New Zealand is quite expensive country, it's good to have a little money just in case if anything happen and you don't find a job. I mean, I think it's easy to find a job even if you picking apples. You can always find a job like this, but yeah, it's good to have a little safe money in the bank account.
Okay, so English and some money.
Yeah.
That's the main things, right? Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thanks so much for telling us all about your life and your story. I'm pretty sure it's very useful for a lot of people. So,
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
and then you have your own YouTube channel where you talk about your experiences. Is that right?
Yes, yes, I made it in January because so many people asked me what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and where I am. So I made a YouTube channel where I make videos about New Zealand so far. But of course, I want to continue that because I actually really enjoy to cutting the videos and everything. It's good.
Great. I put the link below underneath the video so everyone can go and have a look and learn more about New Zealand.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, take care now and good luck for your future plans. Hopefully, you go to Australia and have a lovely time there.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.